Hello everybody, welcome back to Primetime Crisis Flash talking stuff. Yeah, let's go. So this episode of The Flash was season 3 episode 2. It was called Paradox. And so go back to last week. I actually liked last week's episode because we were kind of distancing ourselves from season 2 and we were just kind of like going. We were just like, okay, let's just go and not look back at all of that. Let's just go forward. And I'm like, okay, I'm for that. Because I really didn't like the ending of season 2. So I'm all for them just trying to move on and be like, okay, that was in the past. This is new. This is season 3. This is season 3 Flash, okay? And if you didn't think season 3 was going to be cool, well, you were wrong. So I really like this episode because we have, in a really meaningful way, changed a lot of characters. And whereas at the ending of last episode, I was afraid a lot of the things that we did were arbitrary to create drama. And we did create drama, but it's not just stupid, like petty stuff. It's really interesting because it all comes down on Barry doing something that was really wrong. And just to see him have to live with kind of being responsible for a lot of the pain in Cisco's life in particular and other people's lives as well. But that was really good. I loved the scene at the ending of this episode. It was towards the ending when Barry has to explain the timeline. And he's like, this is the third timeline. And it's not nearly as different as the other timeline, but it is different in small ways, but meaningful ways for people that are close to me. And then he starts crying right there. I was like, that was perfect. That was really good. And whereas I thought that was going to be this kind of cold, like, well, here was the timeline and blah, 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 and just to kind of like get us up all up on the science of what's going on. Instead, they take that to be a really emotional scene because Barry's like, he's illustrating what's happened. And as he kind of goes down the line and you realize really the implications of what he's saying and what the implications of what his actions are, you see it in him. You're like, oh my God, that he understands that he's messed up. And to see him kind of break down right there is really sad. And I really thought that it was kind of cool what we did with the whole Cisco thing where, so I may be wrong, but as I am in seeing it now, I think so Cisco in this timeline is Vibe, I guess. And has he been Vibe for like a little bit? Or is this like the first time he's ever actually been out in the field? Because they keep talking about like his suit and you almost kind of see it as like secondary noise. Like, oh, Cisco's building some kind of cool robotic suit. He's always doing something like that. But like, I didn't realize that like Cisco was actually like building his Vibe suit. And I think like the point was like, they keep talking about it, like when he shows up and the Rival's there. And then he's like, oh, where's your sidekick or whatever. And I thought that like in this universe, Cisco is Barry's sidekick kind of, but Barry thought that Rival was talking about Wally in the other timeline. I keep saying universe, I mean timeline. I'm sorry, but that whole thing, I don't know. I don't know. So I guess we'll kind of clarify that moving forward. I thought though that the point was that like in this, like Cisco has been actively trying to be Vibe. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but I thought that was the case. So I don't know. I could be wrong. Clarify that in the comments. I'm confused. I'm sorry. I've only seen this episode once and I just watched it. So I really liked all of that because we had like real meaningful, impactful change and the characters handled it pretty well, I thought. I thought that Cisco was really sympathetic because he is ultimately kind of being irrational, but his brother has died, so you can give him that. And to see Cisco kind of be the sad, not tortured, but the character that's had something really bad happen to them, and they're the one that's grieving. To see Cisco take that role was kind of cool, and I don't know, like we really utilized him well this episode, I thought. So at the ending with the teaser with Killer Frost, with Caitlin having her ice abilities, I don't know ultimately what they're going to do with that. If they're going to go down the Caitlyn might turn bad road, I'm not going to like that, because I feel like that would just be like, well, what do we do with Caitlyn? Let's just make her bad. But I don't know. I just don't see why Caitlyn has like a real reason to go down that road at this point, after we did that whole episode way back where Cisco was like, you know, Kate, and he was all worried that Caitlyn was going to turn evil, because he knew that in the other Earth 2, that he knew that what she was over there. So he was worried that Caitlyn would turn evil. And we, like, by the ending of that episode, the point was Caitlyn's like, look, I'm not that Caitlyn, okay? I'm not going to become that Caitlyn just because that was her. I'm a whole different person in this reality. And we put that to rest, I thought. Hopefully we just make Caitlyn kind of like a vibe. Like, Cisco is clearly heading towards being a superhero type character. Let's take Caitlyn in that direction too, I guess. Ultimately, the new character, what's his name? It's Julian Albert, I think is his name. It's like Julian Albert or something like that. Yeah. So obviously it's what's his name? Tom Felton or something like that. The actor who plays him, he's the kid who's played Malfoy. Yeah, Tom Felton, that's his name. His character, I kind of like him because he's kind of a new, like, he's very much just kind of the same thing that Malfoy is for Harry Potter, but he's just kind of now in Flash, and I'm like, okay, that's all right. We can get down with that. The whole scene where, like, Barry has to steal the little sample, and then later on when he's like, look, let's just pretend I'm your friend. I really like that scene because you maybe think like, oh, are these guys going to become like buds, or are they going to be enemies? And I think ultimately, they're introducing him, and they know that everyone is expecting this actor to be a evil character in the show at some point, or like just sort of a villainy type antagonistic character to Barry. But I think it'd be cool if they twisted it and it's like, oh, actually they start to see eye to eye, and like they somehow become friends or something, and he has to let him in on the secret of who he is or something like that. That would be really cool. I would be all for that. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know what they're doing with that. Dr. Alchemy. The voice has got to be the guy who is like the puppet Jigsaw from the Saw movies. It's got to be that guy's voice. I don't know if he's actually under the suit. He might be, because I don't know. Like, I don't know if that actor would just do the voice work for that weird mask or not. Maybe. I don't know. So, I mean, with Zoom, the voice actor was that other guy. I don't know what his name is. I'm so sorry. But he's that other guy, and when he took the mask off, it was a different actor, obviously. So maybe that guy's just lending his voice for when the mask's on. But he was fine. He actually had some pretty cool dialogue when he was like, I'm here to help people reach their full potential or something like that. I really liked that line. It wasn't just like evil, I'm here to be evil and to make people feel my wrath. Like, I was glad it wasn't that kind of just like generic, I'm angry and mad. But overall, this episode, I have to say, I really did like it. I love the scene where Barry had the conversation with Jay Garrick Flash. That was a great scene, just because I felt like the dynamic was really good and it was different. Like, the actor, I don't know what the name of the actor who plays Jay Garrick is. Jay Garrick Flash, like good Jay Garrick Flash. Okay, everybody. When I refer to Jay Garrick now, that's the Flash I'm referring to. Okay, everybody. So when they had that conversation, what was really cool about it is that he very distinctly was not Barry's dad, and I really liked that. He didn't feel like he was kind of slipping into that fatherly role. It was more of a like, hey, look, pal. Like he was kind of just like, maybe like he felt like his boss, who was kind of like just like talking to him one-on-one, kind of buddy. And I really liked that. It felt different, and it was just a really cool moment to see Barry kind of have to take responsibility for what he's done. And I really, really liked that. I thought that the way that this episode started was kind of funny when when Barry walks in, he's like, how stupid was that guy? He's like, doesn't he know that I'm faster than bullets or whatever? And I thought that line was really funny. And I thought it was funny how Barry, he kept coming across like he was being a jerk to everyone because he was just oblivious to this reality. He just didn't know what the status quo was anymore. So he's just like trying to figure it out. And he's like, and you and Iris aren't talking, Joe. And I was wondering if we could talk like why that is. And everyone just is like, oh my God, Barry, what the heck? I really liked all of that. So this was a good episode because it kind of went like it went all the way in a full satisfying arc of we got everything this episode. We got a little bit of romance with Barry's first kiss in the new, the new locked in continuity. He's now kissed Iris in the regular timeline again. That's good. I thought it was hilarious when he's like, I've kissed Iris twice and both times have been erased from the timeline. I thought that was great. But so that's happened. Okay. That was a satisfying romantic conclusion to that little thing going on there. We had the really heartfelt stuff with Cisco and his brother. We got the cool stuff. We got the cool moments with Cisco coming in at the end with the gloves. And he was like, oh yeah, Cisco, I see you over there. I feel you, Cisco. I really like that. And we got some new intrigue. We got a new villain. We got a new side character that's maybe an antagonist, maybe a friend. Who knows? We just really did everything, and we got some cool time travel-y type stuff that really just it felt like it was just really naturally propelling itself the entire time. So I gotta say, I really like this episode, and so far, Flash Season 3 has been pretty cool, and I'm definitely glad, and I said this last episode, but I'm definitely glad that I'm still watching this show, actually. So that's it, guys. See you next week with the next episode, where we're going to get Dr. Wells back and Jesse Quick, and that's going to be cool. So, yeah, everybody, what did you guys think of this episode? Leave it down in the comments. Peace out.